Well, here's what I want to say about Agent Carter real quickly before we move on. That show, like the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that show, both seasons, if I'm not mistaken, of Agent Carter, both seasons of that show were very heavily in control creatively, consulted-wise, at least, let's just say, by Kevin Feige and those around Kevin Feige. Oh. He really did enjoy himself some Agent Carter. He really did help that show. And that show was maybe the only real Marvel show on ABC to be directly affected by the creative team of the films.
Huh. Well, to the 55 people who watched it.
Right. Did you guys watch it? I did not.
I have not watched it.
I watched season 1 and not season 2.
I have not watched it. I've watched 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've watched a handful of here and there of the Netflix shows. I am not a completionist when it comes to that shit. Apparently, none of it fucking matters anyways.
No.
Because we got Disney Plus is going to matter.
The Disney Plus will matter.
This time it will matter.
Ooh, Disney Plus.
It will.
Fuck.
All right, well, guys.
Moving on
to the next stone. We have the Orb, the Power Stone, and they went and got it in 2014 Morag. That was War Machine and Nebula. And this was interesting because there was moments where I was like, oh, yeah, shouldn't Korath the Pursuer show up? Jimon Husu? Shouldn't he like shown up at some point and like actually like popped in there? But nope.
I thought he would.
It made sense. It made sense for him not to, because guess who was floating right above that planet right then?
Thanos.
Yep.
Well, also guess who just signed a contract with DC to play old Shazam? So.
Well, he was just in Captain Marvel like months ago.
Oh, so I forgot. I didn't forget. I mean, I knew that information, but I hadn't seen it. That's weird. Okay, he was in Captain Marvel.
Well, Jimon Hunsu was also an Aquaman, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
He's a fucking slut. He's a slut.
She's a slut. I was going to say something along that line. It's a complete whore. Trick, man.
He is a slut. He's a slut.
So there was a moment, especially when they got to Morag, where I was like, okay, all these guys, because they make that joke of like, who's going to space for the first time? And a bunch of them raise their hand. I was like,
that was cute.
So that was fun. But then, you have War Machine walks off onto this random planet and he's like, doesn't have his helmet on. I was like,
nobody had their helmets on in the beginning.
I was like, is anybody like worried that is there breathable oxygen or is there an atmosphere?
They don't give a fuck. I know.
That. They've never established that in any of the Guardians movies or Thor movies.
No, yeah, but they didn't establish that in the beginning of this movie and on the Guardian with Thanos. I mean, Captain America and Black Widow just walk up into Thanos' house and they're just like breathing air.
Right. No, I thought about it then too, but like, by the time we got to Morag, it's like, so nobody cares. No, nobody's thinking about
nobody asked
oxygen.
if we could breathe on Titan. Tony was just like, let's go to Titan.
Right.
Yeah, there's enough nitrogen and oxygen to be able to breathe on all these planets.
Right.
You don't need nitrogen to breathe.
But we do use a lot of it.
We do breathe it.
We love it.
Use it though.
We love it.
Yeah, we breathe like 80% nitrogen every day. Or some shit like that.
But then while they're on Morag,
high. I don't know if it's that high.
It's pretty high.
I love being high.
Let's find out. Air.
But then on Morag, we have a little conundrum there with Nebula.
No, not the banned Wikipedia. I want actual air. Air.
Not air supply.
78% nitrogen. Huh.
Oh my God.
Did it. I'm right. I did it. I liked how War Machine and Nebula were like, essentially staking out the Power Stone, and to see Peter Quill show up, which did make sense.
Yeah.
And he's just dancing to Redbone's Come and Get Your Love. And when it cuts to like their shot, it's just like the lamest scene ever. It's this guy,
it's not fun at all.
Barely singing. He's like, kind of just mumbling the words. His dancing even isn't as nice as it was in the shots that we just saw previously, where he's like sliding on like mud. It's just kind of like a little clumsy-ish, and they just fucking give him an concussion. I mean, fucking War Machine hits him across the fucking head with a metal arm. Yeah. Thank God at this point, he's still half ego.
Yes.
He's still half Celestial at this point. Thank fucking God.
This is the only way he survives.
Chris Pratt in this movie. They make like Chris Pratt's made fun of pretty hard throughout this movie.
What was the other
Infinity
time?
War.
just in the end, like now he's kind of not even the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy because Thor is.
I love that.
The fact that he gets kicked in the like he sees his fucking girlfriend who he thought was dead, and she kicks him in the balls because she doesn't know who he is.
Knees him in the nuts twice. The first time she missed.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then she's like, oh, really disappointed to find out that she's his girlfriend and runs away.
Well, you know what? He deserves it. He fucked up. Look how close. If you go back to Infinity War, look how close Spider-Man is to getting that gauntlet off, and fucking Star-Lord just comes up and Peter Quill just starts banging the fuck out of Thanos' face with the fucking gun.
I guess.
Fuck.
He deserves everything he gets.
Yeah, he's not written to be like a smart character.
He isn't, and I love his character. I actually do like the way they've played him. I like the way they've written him, and I love his development throughout the Guardians films. Well, I guess the first one mostly, and definitely the Avengers Infinity War movie. Like, I thought he was fantastic in those.
I just don't want to, like, this is getting ahead, but I just don't want to start from scratch with the fucking Star-Lord and Gamora thing.
I thought that was a cop-out, too. I was like, oh, just as they were getting serious, they're now going to hit the reset button on that shit.
This is the guy I love. Isn't that something she says, right? She's like, this is the guy I'm supposed to fall in love with. And, and they're like, it was either him or a tree. I love that Drax doesn't factor in at all.
No,
I love Drax.
He fucks differently.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Nebula gets the fucking the power orb, right?
I like how she just reached in and grabbed it. Just her hand gets all mangled.
Destroys her arm, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She doesn't give a fuck.
And then War Machine bounces out, and then Nebula can't. She can't travel back in time. So I guess what happened was, as soon as you got your stone, you just pushed the button, and you just went back to 5 seconds later, I guess, right? From 2023 when they left?
Yeah, it syncs up one time with about 5 seconds later.
Something like that, right? Okay, so that's great, because you get them to come back and Nebula can't, and then you get that whole development of like Thanos is like going in, and you have, checking out Nebula and not sure what the fuck's going on, why they're getting this double signal and all that stuff, and that was cool. But I really like this one moment earlier when we have the Avengers before they go and travel back in time. Black Widow looks at Captain America, looks at Tony Stark, and says, "See you in a minute." And she never comes back because she goes to Vormir in 2014 to get the Soul Stone, which is a hallowed sacrifice.
The dumbest scene in the movie.
So here's a little problem,
but the dumbest scene.
I like the scene, how it plays out. I have one problem with the way the rules of the scene play out.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Nebula knows from her fight with Thanos on Titan that Thanos went to Vormir with Gamora and only came back by himself, but came back with a Soul Stone. Yet she doesn't really allude that that's probably because Gamora was killed. So they send Hawkeye and Black Widow to this planet with the idea that, without any clue that they're gonna die.
No,
one of them's gonna have to kill the other.
When they have in Infinity War, when they have Thanos tied down and he's being controlled by
Gamora,
she specifically says he went to Vormir with Gamora. He came back with a Soul Stone. It's like she knows what the deal is up. She just doesn't mention that. Maybe she was there and planning, and she's like, send those two. Send the two who seem like they're cool with dying. Maybe that's what
they look like. They have a long history
together.
Send the
two who don't have any special enhanced abilities.
Yes.
Yeah, to go fucking die.
And also both it's implied done like bad things, killing people for governments that weren't entirely justified.
Hawkeye is mentioned in this film alone doing bad things. Even War Machine says something along the lines of I'm not even sure if I want to see Hawkeye after seeing the shit he's done to these cartel members. Yeah. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing.
He's raping them.
But still, he rapes them before he murders the cartel.
And after.
Nice.
I still thought, though, seeing it the second time, watching Nat say "see you in a minute," it broke my fucking heart.
What? You're getting her in another fucking movie in three more years.
And I guessed that. Didn't I guess that, Felk? Didn't I guess that?
Yes, you did. You nailed that one.
I've seen everywhere on the internet, everyone being like, no one guessed Natasha was going to die. I guessed Natasha was dying.
You did. And you even guessed that that's why the movie's a prequel.
Roll the tape, Johnny. I say Black Widow dies. I say, and that's why we're getting her movie as a prequel.
Okay.
But I also, it broke my heart still to see her die.
At that scene when they're kind of fighting and struggling, who did you think the first time? Who did you think was actually going to fall?
I thought it was going to be her because I assumed it was always going to be her because I went into the movie assuming she was dead.
I couldn't care. I wanted to because I've spent a lot of time with these characters, but the fucking Benny Hill theme might as well have been playing when they were fucking you stop
rolling around,
fighting over who gets to kill themselves. That's fucking just so stupid. They should just have a conversation and she convinces him that it's her. But instead they do this whimsical, like, shooting harpoons, catching you.
Yeah.
You want to kill yourself. Well, how's he holding on? Like, why is he holding her? Like, why is she not trying to, like, wiggle?
Right.
It was
dumb.
Dumb.
Well, Red Skull got to watch that. So Red Skull is the audience member watching this TV show, this Benny Hill episode is what you're saying. He just sat there.
That's his job now, apparently.
Nonsense going on.
And Red Skull's dialogue is almost word for word from Infinity War.
They might have used the same takes.
Right. I think it was just the same dialogue. They just, like, we already have the ADR.
Let's put it this way.
No, because he does say, like, Clint, son of Edith, and Natasha, son of Ivan.
Yeah, when they first meet,
I don't know too much, but I mean, I know a thing or two about how you have to budget out CG effects works and the 17 studios that Marvel uses.
17. You're being generous. There's probably a lot more.
It's probably 1,000, and some are in LA. I know some are in Atlanta, some are in Austin, some are in Vancouver, but some are in India. Whoever handled the Vormir scene got it. He's like there was no modeling. They just reused the shit from that Vormir scene again. I'm sure that was a budgetary. There was no new modeling needed to be done, or for Red Skull's face, or for that was a cheap scene, and it felt like filler, but also stupid because two people fighting over who gets to kill themselves is like. That seems like something you'd see in a weird skit, not a dramatic scene in conclusion to the character Black Widow.
So, Cool Boy Nation, just so it's clear, like what Felk means by like remodeling is like if you take a movie like Toy Story, where they design hardwood floor, or they take a wooden table in the very first Toy Story, they don't remodel that table or that hardwood floor. Unless they feel like they need to add texture to it, let's say
the Vormir Mountain, the effect of all
they
that
have
stuff.
They have the idea of this is a hardwood floor and this is a hardwood table, and they never need to upgrade it. They just use that same model over and over again. That is why the pizza truck is used in every single Pixar film. It is the exact same model usually. I mean, maybe they rebuilt it a few times, but it's the same model. So, yeah, characters like Ultron were probably the same model. They didn't remodel them the whole movie. I mean, Marvel probably cheap as much as it can the exact same CGI model.
I just can't think of any other scenes in Endgame where it's clear that they were using the same assets from the last movie.
Outriders, the Chitauri, the fucking Leviathans.
The Chitauri looked updated. I thought that the Chitauri were new renders.
They was
different.
Wondering that. So I saw it in IMAX, and I gotta say that, like, yeah, they did look a little bit more colorful and a little bit more detailed.
I feel like that was all updated because you don't want 2012 effects in a 2019 movie. There's been so many innovations, but the previous movie, those were definitely that was like the exteriors big, like when the beam comes down on Vormir, like they didn't re-render that shit. I feel like that was just
The Outriders, though, were for sure the exact same.
Who
model.
are the Outriders?
They're like dog.
Those are the black aliens.
The dog creatures that were.
Oh, those are called Outriders. I didn't know their name was.
They were in Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm sure that was. Yeah, I'm sure that was reused assets too.
And the Sakarans that they used from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm sure that those.
But
the same models.
those are character models. I'm just talking about like a location. It felt redundant. Like they're still doing a lot more work, but that just felt like. The dialogue the same, it played out the same. It just felt like a lazy scene, and then that's before it gets ridiculous because Hawkeye's shooting an arrow at somebody to blast them away from being able to jump off a cliff.
Oh, give me a break. He knew that arrow's explosion was going to be a concussive force that was only going to knock her away rather than injure her.
Yeah, and a concussive force that can knock you back will fuck up your brain.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. She probably. If she's, if she survived and wasn't the one that went back,
she would have come back retarded.
She would have had all kinds of massive brain trauma, for sure. For sure. Well, we got Red Skull. He was back again and played by, as Phil called him last time, Gay Aaron from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So he was back, and he did a great job again at doing the same voiceover work he did last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
he was
replacement.
Fun.
Now, last time, the fans, and if I'm not mistaken, the writers and or directors kind of alluded to the fact that once Red Skull is done watching over the Soul Stone, someone takes it, he can then, go on and do whatever the fuck he wants. Well, in the 2014 timeline, they take it from him, but Captain goes back and puts the Soul Stone back?
Yeah.
How does he put it back?
There's lots of questions about Cap's journey at the end. Of just
I still want to see him like stabbing fucking Natalie Portman with a fucking dildo and squirting ether into her. How'd that go down?
So
he had a blast.
That's a movie that's got to come, right? We're going to get a Captain America.
No, it'll be a Disney Plus episode.
It'll just be Cap in Time, whatever.
Oh, apparently they're doing what ifs. So they're animated too. So that could be a what if, like following what Cap did in time.
Yeah.
And it could be like they could actually use like the original voice cast, because I'm not mistaken. I read somewhere that they are using like film voice cast when possible.
Yeah.
Like the actors. Okay, wow. Well, so we have the Tesseract now. We have
won't be one of the episodes, but sure.
Maybe, who knows? So now we have the Space Stone, the Tesseract. We have the Soul Stone, Hallowed Sacrifice. We have the Reality Stone, the Ether. We have the Time Stone, the Necklace. We have the Power Stone, the Orb. And we have the Mind Stone, the Scepter. Those spell Thanos. Woo woo! And all the Avengers return to 2023 except Black Widow.
But somebody else comes back.
We have Evil Nebula, who's got the red racing stripe. That's how we know she's evil.
But she has her hand back.
Or no, good. That's the good one.
No, the good one has the stripe. That's why that's how they fool him.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But then she stole. Yeah, that's how she fools them. Oh, and then so the good one has no red racing stripe and just metal exposed. It was just confusing. If you had no idea how to pay attention to like the slightest details, like if you're just like, I like colors in movies. Nebula must have driven you crazy.
That was something about this movie that I was like, it really heavily relies that you've seen pretty much all of the 21 other films.
Yeah,
more
this
than
movie
once.
is not very.
Except for Captain Marvel, you just have to have seen the end credit scene. I wasn't confused by anything else.
I would love to see the person who went into this movie having seen no Marvel films and just
that's a viral video of some Uber driver fucking driving people to the movie, and he's already seen it and he's like spoiling it, and it's supposed to like I think that's why they started filming. Like, oh my god. I haven't actually watched this video. I've just read a description of it.
I haven't watched this video either. I didn't even know it existed.
Like, he's just very confused. He's like, I hadn't even seen Wonder Woman, but I totally understood what she was doing in the movie.
Oh, it sounds so fake. As soon as I heard that guy talking, I would be like, you liar. You've seen Wonder Woman. We all have. Well, and we all fell in love with Chris Pine. Torn, do you love Chris Pine?
No, I think it's the idea that he thinks that that's a character of the movie.
Chris Pine?
No, Wonder Woman.
Everyone thinks Chris Pine is a character in a movie, but it's not. It's Chris Pine.
No, Wonder Woman is in.
Chris Pine.
Pine
is not in the Marvel universe. Let's move on.
No, I just want to riff here forever in Chris Pine land. Woo woo! So after the Avengers return back, they build out with their Infinity Stones a Stark Gauntlet, right? A Stark Gauntlet.
Yeah, apparently Eitri's work is not really that important. You don't really need that dying star. You can just do it in a fucking sterile lab in upstate New York.
Yeah, I kind of found it. Okay, so narratively, I always guessed that Nidavellir was going to show back up, right? That Tony and Nebula were actually right next to Nidavellir. I thought that was going to be the case. I was wrong. But it was weird to have Eitri and Nidavellir like brought in Avengers Infinity War, and then narratively did not have that brought back at all.
And they even show another gauntlet there.
I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, he's been building.
Or they showed the mold.
The mold. Sorry, the mold. Yes.
I didn't have a problem with them not coming back to it on a narrative level, but it's just the whole like the majesty of fucking Nidavellir is that like it uses a dying star to make Stormbreaker-esque, Mjolnir-esque, super powerful weapons, and the gauntlet is one of them because it can harness all the Infinity Stones. But then we just find out that Stark's it's nanotech. It's his nanotech can handle it, including his own suit. It can handle it as well. So pretty much, Eitri just phoned that one in.
Bullshit.
Yeah, really.
Thanos did not need to kill all those dwarves. He probably could.
Stark Industries is equal to in value as Nidavellir.
Yes, correct.
They could make Stormbreaker, yeah.
Yeah, they probably could. Maybe, I mean,
in the comics, and plenty of fucking other stories, cartoons. Tony has gone to like Nidavellir and like shit like that, and gone to like where the dwarves are, and built like incredible Asgardian armor, like Asgardian Iron Man armor. And like it's this whole thing that he could never have done it with Earth's tools. He needed these magical tools, essentially harnessed by gods and so forth, the magical beings, to be able to build this great armor. And here it's just like Tony he's got it with nanotech.
Yeah.
Nanotech's got everything.
Yeah, good shit.
It's 2023.
It was dumb. This movie has a lot of dumb shit in it.
You're dumb. You shut up. I like how Hulk is willing to put on that gauntlet, and he's just like, it's the gamma radiation.
I would have been fine if that was the scene, but you're skipping the part where Thor tries to do it, and they're all like, "Sit down, fat drunk Thor." It's like, that's not what I want from Thor.
I kind of felt like, based on what we've seen,
should have been his arc.
Hulk should have. Hulk makes sense taking the Stark gauntlet, putting it on, and snapping his fingers, being able to take the power because he's got gamma radiation, which was set up in the first Avengers film.
Yes, it was.
But and he's just like, it's like it was meant to be or whatever. But yeah, you're right. Like I did feel like Thor would have been fine. Plus the guy was like willing to die, so it was kind of like, well, yeah, let him just do it. And he's practically like, there's like 3 characters in Marvel now. They're like the strongest fucking characters in the world based on what they can do. You have Brie Larson's Carol Danvers, who can essentially just do anything your plot wants. Then you have Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Odinson, who is just like really fucking crazy powerful to like lightning, electricity, and strength.
Yeah.
And the ability to like wield weapons that should essentially kill and destroy the mind of everyone else. And then you have Doctor Strange, who can call in people from everywhere in the universe at once, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a moment. But these are huge characters. So it was weird that Thor wasn't involved in the snap to correct the snappening, the original snappening from Infinity War, and that it was Hulk. I did find that odd. But I liked it. I liked how they made it. I just didn't like the way that they dismissed him. It just felt like, this is sad. I feel bad for him. Well, he was fucked up, dude. I mean, like, if you had a friend that was that drunk and he was like, let me do the thing that's fucking crazy, and I have to like be at my like point of like, my game's gotta be on point, and I have to like snap my fingers and think exactly the right thing
I'm
at that moment.
I'm not criticizing their decision for saying no to Thor. I just don't like. I'm remembering that this is a screenplay, and someone made the conscious decision to have Thor be in that state, and that's what I don't like.
Oh, I like that. I like that Thor kind of like lost his shit in the end.
I feel like he should have been. He should have sobered up and gotten his shit together and put on his Thor outfit and not being dressed like the dude a little earlier in the movie.
Okay, well, so that's funny. Okay, so you want to know where so I did feel like I had that moment. I thought Thor should do it, but I was fine when Hulk did it with the gamma radiation connection. I was fine with that callback. But there was one little moment where I did think it was a little bit more of a misstep when it came to Hulk snapping his fingers. So when Hulk snaps,
yeah,
right, he snaps.
Yeah. Say it, Gare.
Snap.
God damn it.
Snippity, snappity, zippity, zappity, zap, zap.
This is a feedback.
I hate myself.
What's happening? All right, now make your point.
He doesn't flash into the Soul Stone like Thanos did. And I wanted to kind of,
because he didn't sacrifice anybody to it.
So I kind of didn't think of it that way. I kind of thought, okay, I guess that makes sense. And that explains
tied
everything.
together.
But I thought it would have been nice to have had the scene where Hulk goes and sees Natasha in the Soul Stone and has a moment with her.
Maybe they.
That would have been interesting. Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of scenes that were cut, and then they, like the scenes that they made in, like like I said, like you're right. That does, now that you say that, that seems like a scene that could have been in there, but the movie was
because based on the Avengers stories, Hulk and Nat have had clearly a relationship.
No,
if you take them out of any other movie, not true.
They kind of, but outside of like one line mentions here and there, it doesn't feel like that relationship was always a dumb thing. It came out of nowhere. It was not set up in the previous film. And then it comes in Age of Ultron. It's like, why are they fucking? That doesn't make sense.
I thought it was set up in the Avengers.
I don't remember any scenes between them.
I don't think so. It's not until the beginning of Ultron, that opening scene.
I always thought of the moment when she first sees him in India as part of like that beginning of that moment for them.
There's no sexual chemistry there.
That was her just bringing him in and using her charm and Black
Widow
flirtation.
You want to fuck big guy?
Pretty much. Oh my God.
Seduction.
Very seducing. So after Hulk snap, we immediately jump into Act 3. And we spend, by the way, I was checking the clock during this movie, not because I was like, I have somewhere to go, but like because I was just really curious of the running time and the way it was playing out. Every hour was practically a new act.
Yes.
Act 3 started and it was fucking like an hour left of the movie. And it begins with 2014 Thanos attacking the Avengers headquarters. And I thought that was a really smart way to bring in Thanos again into the story, Gamora into 2023, and to bring in an evil Nebula.
Oh shit, can you believe it? Thanos attacked Avengers HQ, turned it into dust.
Dude, this was something that bothered me, is that he completely demolishes the entire facility and all of the Avengers inside the building just, everyone's fine.
It would be, none of those characters were going to die because they got crushed by rubble. It wouldn't be a dignified like
right, but I mean, he like
those characters.
Explodes the entire building. Like he demolished it.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous that they all survived. I thought that was kind of a boring. Everybody getting out of rubble like was weird. Hawkeye's running.
No.
Hawkeye's.
No, that's important.
What?
That was majorly important. Because you needed to isolate everyone away from the Trinity of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, so they could have their standoff with Thanos together.
And
Thanos.
Yes, that's fine. They did that by putting them under rubble. My problem with this is that it creates as a setting for the big, great battle of. I know we're not there yet, but that's where everything from this point above ground takes place. The fight with Thanos, the fight with all the giant armies, takes place in gray rubble.
Yes.
What's the best possible setting for any climatic big fight? Just boring gray rubble.
This movie at this point became a Zack Snyder film.
It did.
I also have to say that this movie also became better in 3D at this point. Now, I will say why. I will say this. The first time I saw it in 2D, and I had no major issue discerning what was the foreground and background and where the characters were. And it was a giant IMAX screen. Second time I saw it, an IMAX 3D. It was a slightly smaller IMAX screen. And I would say the 3D started giving me, the depth. The layers. I actually felt like this massive fucking landfill of a scene suddenly made more sense and visually was more appealing. It didn't feel so flat. But again, I definitely felt I didn't realize it when I was watching it the first time that it did feel so flat. It wasn't until seeing it in 3D that I realized how much better it was in 3D. Certain scenes like that, especially. So we might as well get more into it now. What's going on here? We have the Trinity versus 2014 Thanos, and it is incredible.
I don't like this Trinity. Trinity is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I don't.
Oh yes, that's the Trinity.
Is it?
This is Marvel's Trinity.
That's the MCU
to, I think it's Marvel's
Trinity. It's a Trinity that's existed since like 2012. That's not Marvel's Trinity. Like
no, you're right.
Marvel,
it's MCU.
Wolverine
Trinity
is more important than any of these fucking characters.
and probably Spider-Man too.
Yeah, Spider-Man definitely.
Yeah, but this is the MCU Trinity, and this was an amazing moment.
Yep.
Especially when it was just Cap for a moment there, just taking on Thanos.
So Iron Man gets taken out fast, and Thor gets taken out pretty fast too.
They all Thanos fights Iron Man. All the people who are on Titan. He's got 4 Infinity Stones. Iron Man's able to draw blood. You know, they're able to pin him down with a plan that they just brainstormed minutes before. It's like, why the fuck was this such a problem for Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America to fight a 0 stone Thanos, the weakest we've ever seen Thanos be?
I thought of him as not stronger, but his will to be different. I kind of thought that they found him in a more brutal state. That like he was I thought like the other Thanos was kind of more on his like his way out, and he was kind of done, and he was peaceful about what he wanted to do. Yeah, he realized he wanted to kill 50% of the world, or 50% of a planet, or 50% of the universe. But he was coming from a place of quote unquote good. While this one was a little bit more evil, and therefore I think he was just kind of. Like if you notice every kill in Infinity War, it's very purposeful. Thanos doesn't kill anybody in Infinity War unless they fucking wronged him big time, Loki in Heimdall, or if he needed to kill you, like Gamora.
Okay.
Or Vision.
Your point is apparently that Thanos' mental state is more of a factor than 4 Infinity Stones.
Yes, I'm saying Thanos, when you piss him off and you're just coming at him like, yo, come at me, bro, he's all over you like an asshole. But if he's like, just like, dude, I'm just doing what it takes to get these stones, he's just going to barely beat down.
You know what I think it is? You know why I think he's far more powerful? He seems far more powerful because Thor, even with all 6 Infinity Stones, Thor came in, fucking cut through him with his axe. He can't even take down. He's got his axe and Mjolnir, and he can't do shit against Thanos with 0 Infinity Stones. You want to know why? He's
also a stronger fighter, like will. That's what I think. Mind wise,
I disagree. I think the reason why he's more powerful in 2014 without any stones than he is, with the stones in 2019 is because of bad screenwriting.
No, I think when he has the stones, he realizes he's got the upper hand.
A big fight there. Everything with 2014 Thanos was a letdown to me. It was disappointing.
Oh yeah,
that wasn't my Thanos. That wasn't the Thanos that I wanted to see them fight. I don't give a shit about fucking the Thanos from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't get anything else about them defeating him. They never fucking met him before.
Yeah, you're right. They would. Okay, that point is made very clear later on with Scarlet Witch, right? When she's just like, like you took everything from me. He goes, I didn't even ever met you.
Yeah.
That's really why dramatic. I do think that this movie would have been stronger. Okay, just like in Logan, having the clone, right, the clone Wolverine come in at the end, having 2014 Thanos be the villain in the end, it does feel a little cheap. It does. I agree. It does. I do wish it was Kang the Conqueror. It would have made more sense for the time travel storyline. And then on top of all that, he could have been strong and powerful. We wouldn't have known all his power sets. We could have learned them. We could have had a different fight. We could have had a different reason that, all these people were able to fight him and why they were able to be, staved off for as long as they were, for the sake of the narrative, as opposed to just the narrative having to demand it, which is what folks upset about, and which I'm okay with. Is that the narrative demands that it has to be Captain America and Thor and Iron Man fighting Thanos in the beginning. And so therefore we're going to put Hawkeye in the tunnels running away, and we're going to put Hulk having to hold up concrete so not to crush a paralyzed Rhodey and a tiny raccoon.
Yeah. And Doctor Strange is busy holding water back, and there's a lot of excuses in this movie.
Doctor Strange later, yes. He does.
It's the same thing though. Like, this character's holding this.
That's something the Russo brothers have always done though in all of their films. Back to Civil War and in Infinity War, they've always found a way to get rid of the big gun.
The third act,
the strongest person in the room,
fell apart for me. Is all I'm saying, because I did not care about them showing a Thanos who has no idea what the fuck's going on, and is on a totally different mission, and is basically a different character. That fell flat to me. I didn't feel like they needed that third act. I feel like they could have stretched out the time travel and just not come back to Thanos. They might as well not.
Yeah. Yeah, I get.
That's why I'm disappointed in the movie.
But this is the end. This is the culmination. You need to have some big set piece. You need to have a big villain. You showdown,
and you just can't have the ending be at the very beginning when they kill Thanos in the very beginning, right? You have to have it at the end too.
Yeah, you needed that.
Sure.
Well, okay, Falk, I have a question for you, Dorn. I'll ask you this as well. But I'm curious. So when Thanos did get Stormbreaker and he was putting it up against Thor's chest and he was pushing it through Thor's armor, did you think for a moment he might kill Thor?
No.
No, really. I thought for a moment
it would have been a weird death, that specific staging.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna be it. No.
Yeah, to have him slowly have an axe shoved into him, that wouldn't be how Thor dies.
See,
Plus they need Chris Hemsworth, man. They need him. Like now that they figured out he's funny.
It's true. It's very true. And they figure out that now he probably works better as a Guardian of the Galaxy. I thought the first time maybe that Thor was gonna die at that scene and that he would be avenged, but that he would still have died. And I did not see Mjolnir get picked up that first time I was watching it. The second time I was like, oh shit. I didn't even realize the close-up of Mjolnir lifting. Yeah. Like that happens in between like a shot of Thor about to die and like Thanos' face. There's like a shot of Mjolnir like literally being lifted.
I wish that shot wasn't in the movie because that shot was, I was like, oh, it's going to be Captain. It's going to fly to Cap. Yeah, it's going to be like the fucking lightsaber going to Rey. It's going to be a cheap moment.
They set it up in Age of Ultron. What do you mean cheap?
It's just the execution of it. They should it would have been much better had they just had the hammer fly in. That shot fucked up the tension because I was like, right, oh, now Cap's going to use it. And I was expecting it. I don't know why that shot.
So it ruined it for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a one simple edit. That's just the editor in me going like, you take that shot out. It's way better.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't register it the first time I watched it. So maybe that's why it was more impactful because I did not see it coming. And then I just see Cap essentially or Mjolnir hit Thanos, and then Cap pulls it and retrieves it, and that's when y'all was like, "Oh shit, Mjolnir, that's right." I didn't see that shot, so yeah, that would have ruined it.
Instead, the whole time I was going, someone else is going to use Mjolnir. Who's it going to be? It's definitely not going to be Tony. Oh, it's going to be Captain America because they've done that. And then it happens. That felt like the pacing was wrong for me.
See, I did not expect. I know from the comics, obviously, Cap does pick up Mjolnir, right? And I did get the hint from Age of Ultron. Right. Yes, she has. And I did get the hint from Age of Ultron that like Cap could pick up Mjolnir, and right, that's the fan theory way back when from Age of Ultron.
And it was true. He was that wouldn't embarrass Thor.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He could have done it, but he chose not to. And Thor says to him in Age of Ultron, nothing. And then Thor says to him as soon as he gets it here, he goes, "I knew it." Yeah. I love Thor's fucking cockiness, man. Oh, he's the best. He's so fucking confident.
But then Cap can actually wield lightning.
He also can wield Stormbreaker too, with no problem, without collapsing his brain.
So Felk, that's actually a really good point, Dorn. What I'll say is, to your point. So Felk's point being that, like, right, Cap shouldn't be able to wield Stormbreaker without collapsing his brain, or whatever the fuck, collapsing his mind. Now, but the Mjolnir thing, if Odin puts the curse on it or the spell on it, that's like whoever should wield this hammer should have the power of Thor. Yeah. So. Power Thor is lightning, right?
Gotcha.
And thunder and all that jazz.
That makes sense then. You're right.
Yeah. I had some friends I was with who actually were like, "Where is the lightning coming from?" And I was like, "Actually, it's," and I did the same
power
thing again.
Power of Thor. You're right.
And it didn't make me cool. Trust me, it did not make me cool. All of a sudden, people usually hate it when you say that to them. When you tell them nerdy stuff like that.
Cool boys.
Cool boys. Cool boys.
It's like when I came out of Fast and the Furious when I was like 18, and there was like two kids going like, "I like Dom's car because it looked like a Viper, but was it a Viper?" And I go, "It's a Mazda RX-7." And they go, "Who fucking asked you?"
Yeah. That happened to me with Captain Marvel at the end of Infinity War, where I think I said this on the Spoilercast, where I was walking out of the theater and I was on the way out. I'm waiting for I'm like standing to the side waiting for the end credit scene. And it comes up and it's, Nick and Fury and Maria Hill and the pager bullshit. And it's the logo, and I see this little girl, and she's just like, "Daddy, who was that?" And the daddy's like, "I don't know," kind of thing. And then I'm just immediately like, "It's Captain Marvel," and he just gives me this look like, "Who the fuck asked you?"
Don't talk to the stranger.
Yeah, but he gives me this terrible look, like he's about to beat my ass down. Like I should never have said anything. All right. Well, speaking of Cap and wielding weapons, he also wields his shield, and we do see Thanos destroy it with his fucking sword. Very much like the Age of Ultron vision from the beginning of Age of Ultron.
No.
But also like how it happens in the comics. Except in the comics, I think he backhands it with the Infinity Gauntlet or something to that effect.
Yeah, Vibranium's not that great, apparently. Just random.
Well, Vibranium is the strongest metal on Earth. It's not the strongest metal in the galaxies and the universe and shit.
That's adamantium.
Adamantium and vibranium are like combined.
In the Marvel comics, adamantium and vibranium are the strongest metal on Earth.
It's true.
Adamantium. But here's the thing: adamantium is I think is an actual Earth ore, while vibranium is a cosmic ore. It's an extraterrestrial ore. While yeah.
So where's this on Earth?
Adamantium
This
is a
on Earth
terrestrial
shit's kind of
ore.
a cheat, anyways. It's not even from Earth.
But it's on Earth.
But on Earth, vibranium is super powerful. Oh, I cannot wait. I love all the shit that Phase 3 is established. And there's like, somehow they're going to be like, and there's mutants down the line.
That's not going to work
with
at all.
adamantium. It's going to be amazing.
Everyone fucking loves this Green Hulk guy and get selfies with him, but they're going to see fucking Iceman and be like, freak, and throw rocks at him.
Yeah. Or,
yeah.
Exactly. Or, yeah.
There's a line.
Yeah,
There's a
or
line.
Beast. Or Beast, which Hulk pretty much was. In this Professor Hulk in this movie is practically the best version of Beast we've ever had.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kelsey Grammer's pretty cool.
Kelsey Grammer is
He's
okay,
a highlight of a bad movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a
he
shitty
is.
movie, but he was great.
Yeah, great casting.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just so stupid to get rid of Nightcrawler for Last Stand just because there's too many blue people now. And like now you look at like these Marvel films and they have yellow people like crazy, green people like crazy, blue people like crazy.
No, yeah, and they're celebrities. People are getting fucking selfies with Thor. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna see Cyclops has his fucking glasses on. They're gonna be like, weirdo, we don't like you.
Yeah, you fucking
Let's pass
psycho, get outta
legislation
here.
to fucking make you not a human. Like what? The
Yeah, really.
how's that gonna play out? I don't know. We'll
She
find
can
out. We'll
control
figure something
things with her mind. By the way, Scarlet Witch, you're super cool. Thank you so much for your help saving the world.
out. Yeah.
But that Jean Grey,
Well, to be fair, they
who
kind
can
of
do
are
practically
afraid of
the same
Scarlet Witch.
thing.
Jean Grey, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, who does
They are kind of
practically
afraid
the
of
same.
Scarlet Witch. She was the only one who actually got people not liking her by blowing up that place in Africa.
The
Logos.
Wakandan
Yeah,
embassy.
But her showdown with Thanos was pretty awesome.
Speaking of showdowns and speaking of face-offs, Cap faces off after he loses his shield, right? He faces off against Thanos and Thanos' army. And that's the Black Order, right? So we got Cole Obsidian back again, Ebony Maw back again, or the Maw.
Yeah.
We also have Corvus Clave and Proxima Midnight.
Played by
the
a
married
different
couple.
actress.
No, it's Carrie Coon still.
No, it's Carrie Coon's face, but Carrie Coon was actually a stand-in, and she didn't come back. They used a different stand-in for her this time.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Okay,
Whatever.
But they still had the scans for her face.
They still had them. And they brought back the Outriders, of course, from Infinity War that we mentioned earlier. But they also brought back the Chitauri, as we mentioned earlier. More CGI done to them.
Yeah.
Leviathans again, right? The space whales the Chitauri use.
Mm-hmm.
Sakarans from Guardians of the Galaxy that Ronan, the Accuser, used. Not Ronan, the Hawkeye. And cave trolls from Middle Earth. What the fuck were these things
Yeah, there were
out of
some
nowhere?
interesting characters there.
Fuck it, they have cave trolls too. At this point,
They have cave
at this
trolls
point,
from-
I
they
was
have
like, this is
Sauron's
not-
cave
this is-
trolls.
This movie's this is just all
Well,
over the place.
this was the kitchen sink moment, you know.
Yeah.
It was, but I love that they established the villains, and then they had that beautiful shot of Cap right in the distance on the left side of the
Yes, yes.
frame with the sun behind him, and then you had this huge army of fucking extraterrestrials just ready to tear his
just
ass.
him taking them all on, or about to.
And then all of a sudden, what do you get? Right, you get Falcon just on your left.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of something. As soon as I heard the
reference
voice,
to
I was
Winter
like, "That's
Soldier.
Anthony Mackie." I knew that was Anthony Mackie right away. I was so excited. I was like, "That's Anthony Mackie! The snappers are back! The snappers are back!"
They
And on your left, perfect homage.
yeah. They waited very dramatic moments.
So do all the sorcerers and wizards just at the same time just open up portals from everywhere? That's what's happening here
I'm kind of wondering why it took Doctor Strange so long to open up a portal
from Titan
from Titan.
Well, I
Spider-Man
think it was like he went to let's look at the army that the Avengers amassed, right? So we just looked at Thanos' army. So the Avengers army is every hero from all the movies,
everyone.
right? With the exception of Sif and Vision and Heimdall and Loki
And Black Widow.
and Black Widow, right? And then we have all these wizards, all these Wakandans, all these Ravagers, Asgardians, right?
Yeah, everybody.
All these people are just showing up.
Except Sif.
Except Sif, right? Except Sif. Which she really should have been there maybe, but I guess she had better things to do.
Yeah.
So you have all these this huge army, and I'm assuming that it took a long time for Doctor Strange to reach out to all the wizards to help set up all the sling rings to get it going so that they could mass them all at once, because you couldn't have them trickle in. It would have been useless to trickle them in. They needed this one giant shot where they could have them all come in at once so they could protect Captain America
remember,
and
Doctor
save
Strange
the day.
has seen the one possibility of them winning.
Which we don't know if this is it, though, yet.
He watched 14 million. He didn't see every possibility. He saw 14 million, and only in that time that he was able to see that many, only saw one in which they were victorious. Now, you have to assume now that a lot of those 14 million were scenarios in which the rat did not push the right buttons in the van to bring back Ant-Man.
So how many times is Ant-Man just stuck in the quantum realm forever? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, so Captain America has literally everyone fucking behind him. And he yells the famous phrase, finally, we got Avengers Assemble.
Which is wrong, because after he says that, they all charge at the opposing army. They're not assembling. That was not the correct command. It was charge. Avengers charge would have been inaccurate to what they did. He just says assemble because that's a thing.
It was an awesome moment.
So in Infinity War, when he should have used it to rally on Vision, Avengers Assemble, right?
Yeah.
To Vision.
It's a reference to the end of Ultron where he says Avengers, smiles, and then it cuts to black, and you're left thinking, like, I don't want to fucking see an Avengers movie with War Machine and Falcon.
And Scarlet Witch.
But you did. It's called Captain America Civil War.
At least it wasn't an Avengers movie. That's what I was worried about.
There was a lot more characters.
There's a lot more to it. And Tony Stark came back.
He had Spider-Man and Black Panther, so
yeah, you had way more interesting characters than Scarlet Witch.
True.
And Vision, who sucked then.
Hack and Jack, 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 Hack and Jack.
Is that Nolan?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys.
Hack and Jack. Hack and Jack.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
Jack.
Wow.
I'm entering the quantum realm. I am entering the quantum realm.
It's daylight there.
Oh.
It's Natasha Romanoff Noli.
But wait, I thought when it's
Coming to you
daylight in
live.
the Western Hemisphere, it's also daylight in the Eastern Hemisphere, according to the movie Avengers Endgame.
Is that a fact?
Well, because the Hawkeye opening is daylight, even though it's also daylight in Africa. That's not how that works.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's an
Do you
interesting
guys
point.
enjoy time travel? Because I'm time traveling right now.
You're the
9
fucking
hours ahead.
future.
Yeah,
Wow.
you are? I am in the future.
He's in the future. He's in the next
guys-
day.
So are you guys still talking about Black Panther?
We're still ranking all the movies.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
That was only 22 minutes.
yeah, we actually did that quick. We did that fast. We did a love it or hate it of those.
All right, you want to know our ratings real fast then? Nolan?
Oh, yeah, we'll recap you real quick.
Yeah, recap me real fast.
Everyone give their
I'm gonna be
stars.
quick.
Ballard?
I gotta go.
Okay, so Ballard gave it a 5 out of 5 boys, but I don't like it as much as I liked Infinity War.
Okay.
I agree with that assessment.
And I gave it 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. I
And
have
you
a
saw
lot
it
of problems.
twice?
I've seen it twice. I dropped it down a full half star. I was going to give it a 3, but then it just the second time was just like there's a lot wrong here.
We're leaving in 40 minutes. Okay. I gotta go.
You got 40 minutes.
You got 40
40
minutes.
minutes to get ready to get out of the quantum realm.
I think my
All right,
review would
well,
be.
give us your stars, boys.
I think 4 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Uh,
It's good.
Okay. I think the movie is really uneven, especially the first hour.
Oh, yeah.
But the finale was quite the spectacle.
Engorged.
But I will gotta go back in the quantum realm.
Oh
See
no!
you guys in a little bit.
Back in the van.
Yeah, you're the one of us who died. You're the one who came back with the undo snap.
I know
Okay.
I came through. That was
came
an
back?
amazing moment for me.
We don't know what happened to Dord. Maybe he's always been here. Maybe he just came back. We don't know.
Never
All
can
right.
tell.
Well, you
Miss
guys have
you.
fun.
Beautiful, gorgeous weather you have in there in the quantum realm.
Yes, I'll see ya.
All right, bye Noli,
Bye, guys.
Natasha Romanoff Noli.
Bye. We miss
Bye.
you.
Bye, Nole.
What?
Oh yeah, go 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 go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ah. God damn it.
So we're in the battle. When I saw Valkyrie ride in on her white horse, I immediately thought Artex. I was like, Artex is back. Oh,
He came back.
Artex! Stupid horse! You gotta move or you'll die! Move, please! I won't give up! Don't quit! Artex! Please!
I thought, where's this horse? A flying horse fucking coming from? There's a flying horse on the ship. Nor was there ever
so
one.
I guess Pegasus must have lived on New Asgard somewhere in the fields or in the hills there, huh?
Came from
Like,
where? From the original Asgard? They put a horse on that ship. We just never saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Probably the reality is that horse was probably on Sakaar. She went back to Sakaar and got it.
Guys, the horse was taken away during the snap because all living things, half of them gone. So let me understand. So from what Spider-Man said, he turns to dust.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up, and Iron Man wasn't there, so he wakes up just 5 years later
Yes.
on Titan.
Everyone apparently snaps back to the location because Black Panther's in Africa.
Wakanda, yeah.
And you can see like all the people on Titan are through that portal. So everyone's where they were when they snapped, which means everyone in the car is now teleported onto a freeway.
So everyone on a plane
in an airplane is falling down from the ground.
Right.
And,
that's what I thought.
So anyone that was snapped away at 30,000 feet is immediately falling to their death.
Right, that's what I thought, the same thing.
So every time you snap someone back who was snapped away, they came back to the most convenient location for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Wherever they needed to be.
Yeah. Wherever it was they needed to be that wouldn't kill them immediately.
As far as I'm concerned, he specifically, I think it's Captain America says, somebody specifically says to the Hulk right before he snaps, remember, we're not trying to undo anything from the past 5 years. We're just undoing the snap. I still think everyone who died in car accidents and plane crashes during the snap, still dead. And on top of that, a lot of new people came back from the snap, also died because they teleported midair. So I still feel like we lost like 10% of the universe, both with the snap and undoing the snap. I still feel
the reality is that's probably good, because think of it this way, right, Phil? You take an entire a universe that is feeding on resources just constantly overfeeding on resources to the point where they don't even have enough resources for 100% of the population.
Point.
Then what?
That's Thanos' point.
Right. So you snap away 50% of that universe, right?
Yeah.
And now you have 100% of resources for 50% of the universe. It's great. But 5 years later, right, down the road, you have now a populace that's used to whatever 100% of the resources is then is now going to fit 100% of the populace. You suddenly double the populace by bringing them back with a snap. Now you don't have 100% of the populace again. You have 200% of the populace for less resources they're used to. It destroys the system.
Think about all the people who got promotions.
Thanos wins.
Think about all the people
Thanos
who
wins.
got promotions after the snap because somebody above them snapped.
Right.
Was snapped out. And now, like, Jeff's back. I guess you have to give him your job now. Is your old salary okay? Well, there's a lot of snap collateral, so we can't, we have to reduce it if even less. Thanos is the hero, and everyone else is the fucking villain.
That's why he gets Infinity War. Okay, so the director said themselves, Infinity War is Thanos' film, because if Thor had actually killed Thanos in the end and prevented the snap, it would have been Thor's film for the win. But because he loses, the movie does become Thanos' movie.
I'm just saying Thanos is right.
He's the hero. He is the hero. You're right. He is right. He is the hero.
He wins no matter what.
He wins no matter what.
No matter butts.
He's Thanos. And then you know what? Someone who showed up the second time I saw the film, I noticed that when Wasp showed up the first time, I was just like all eyes on Evangeline Lilly because I love her as the Wasp. She's fucking awesome. She's so sexy. She's perfect.
Big Wasp
But
head.
the second time, big Wasp head. But the second time I watched it, I tried to let my eyes wander and not get focused on beautiful objects like Evangeline Lilly. And I looked to the back right, of Evangeline Lilly, right behind her left shoulder, right to us, her right shoulder, and you see Ravagers, and in a group of Ravagers, you see Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he comes in. He's coming in for the fight. He's armed too. He's packing heat.
He's got like a gun. It looked like, I thought, or something like that.
didn't
He
notice
does have
until the
some
second
weapon.
time.
Yeah.
I was looking for anything and everything the second time. Plus, I had like read a few like Easter egg things, like like look out for like Jim, like Starlin and stuff like that.
They didn't get Luke Cage, but they got Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is CGI, and you didn't get Seth Green. They didn't need him. They didn't do a voice or anything.
Oh, they could have gotten Luke Cage. I mean, they didn't want him.
Right.
Well,
that's my problem that we're gonna. Well, okay. Well, I guess we're actually past that part. So yeah, there's that moment when that I alluded to earlier.
mm-hmm.
When I was like, everything seems to be, they do something sometimes just to establish, yeah, we can do that. And I thought, surely they're not bringing the James D'Arcy from fucking Agent of Carter, into the show just to have a random shout out to their least watched TV effort. That must be a point. They're establishing, okay, for this big finale, we're going to bring shit in even from the TV shows. So there's that moment when after everybody pops out of the fucking portal, Doctor Strange looks at Big Wong and says, "Is that everybody?" And I think Big Wong goes,
Big Wong?
You wanted more.
Why are you calling him Big Wong?
Because you called him that once.
No, Huge Wong.
Huge Wong. Huge Wong says, "You wanted more?" And I thought, holy shit. I think I actually said holy shit in the theater. I thought a portal was going to open and Coulson and fucking Mockingjay or Mockingbird and all the fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were going to come out. And then a portal was going to open from New York and fucking the Defenders plus Punisher and all. Like, they were all, because we don't know what the state of TV is.
Wait,
I understand
did you think Inhumans were showing up too?
No, I didn't think they were going to deal with Inhumans or Cloak
That
and
would be
Dagger.
amazing. Black Bolt. Someone actually goes, Black Bolt's here.
I thought I was like, is it gonna be the Defenders? And I thought, no, it's gonna be Coulson. It's gonna be Coulson. Coulson's gonna come out, and with the people behind him who you'd only recognize if you watched the show, but everyone would cheer and go, yes, Coulson! Somehow he's back, or maybe he was always back. Who really knows? Who cares? Because we don't know what the state of any TV shows are. None of the Netflix shows ever dealt with the snap, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just took a fucking year-long hiatus and not have to deal with it. So I thought that would have been, before this big conclusion to finally bring it back, we were going to see Coulson or something significant. And instead, just fucking Giant Man, who we already saw 5 movies ago.
Giant Man looked amazing, though. He looked so good.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen that effect. We already seen Giant Man. We knew that. We've seen him twice now.
I've seen him 8 times. Show me 8 more times.
It didn't feel like a cool moment. It's just like,
No.
it's the characters who are under rubble.
He
That's
punches a Leviathan in the face and it fucking crashes to the ground. You've never seen that shot in the movie.
I'm not dissing Giant Man being part of the fight. That's cool. I'm dissing the fact that, like, they set up, oh no, there's more. And I was like, what's the more? And the more was just the characters who were under the rubble. I thought it was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be something big. I thought it was going to be something that blew my fucking jizz.
I misread that scene. I thought the exact opposite. When Huge Wong says to Doctor Strange, what you thought there's going to be more, I thought he was saying essentially like to the fans that were expecting Defenders and stuff like that to be like, what, you wanted more? Like we couldn't possibly get more. That's how I took it. Speaking of fan service and callbacks like that, I liked how Wasp, when she was like, making fun of Ant-Man and Ant-Man the Wasp for, saying Cap as a nickname for Captain America. Then in this movie, there's a point where like Captain asks Ant-Man for help to get essentially the van, right? Because it's got the quantum realm time machine in it. And Wasp calls Cap. And then they both look at each other, Ant-Man and Wasp, and they kind of like nod, like, we're going to fuck later. But that was pretty cool, right? Saying
we're
Cap.
Fucking.
I love that. I like Wasp saying Cap like that. I thought that was cool. I like the little callbacks like that. I liked how you had Black Panther calling Hawkeye Clint, because in Civil War, Clint introduces himself to Black Panther in the airport battle, and like Black Panther's like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I like that kind of shit. I like Spider-Man switched to kill mode, instant kill mode.
He got to use it because he was fighting non-humans.
Yeah, and I like Iron Man versus Cole Obsidian 2. and Cole Obsidian still beats the fuck out of Iron Man, still about to kill Iron Man, and this time Iron Man's saved by Giant Man.
Yeah, he just squashes him.
Cole Obsidian is like one of those boxers when he fights another boxer, and he just has his number no matter what. He has Iron Man's number.
Val, that reminds me. So I haven't seen Captain Marvel's, but do they address the sash on Cole Obsidian's?
No, it was never addressed in Captain Marvel.
All right, so that was nothing. That was a nothing thing.
No, that's nothing. That was not real.
It should have been.
I mean, it was exactly right. It's clearly the Captain Marvel colors.
It clearly is. I don't know why they did that. Oh, and my favorite last callback fan service moment: Scarlet Witch's titties. I love when she's fighting Thanos, and she, like we mentioned earlier, she's like, you took everything from me, and Thanos is like, I don't even know who you are, and then she just like is crushing Thanos, and he's just looking straight down at that gorgeous cleavage, and he's just like, oh my god, now I do know who you are, and then he goes and fucks her, an old boy,
and he's her daughter, or she's his daughter in that movie. Spoilers for Old Boy.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen and Josh Brolin are not father and daughter, so it's great. It's just a great fun time to watch. Just actors acting. That's all.
No.
So Scarlet Witch's titties was in this movie again, like I wanted to mention, which looked fantastic. You had always perfect over. No, you had perfect bird's eye view always, and she was always angled so they looked perfect. I mean, I've heard that.
Captain Marvel's gonna get you for objectifying a woman.
I don't care. Elizabeth Olsen might get me for objectifying.
No, I think Elizabeth Olsen's cool with her tits being on.
She said specifically she doesn't like having her titties out with all her costumes, and she wants moving forward Scarlet Witch to not have her titties out all the time.
I don't know what that's about. I miss Pamela Anderson.
Well, what I do know what's about is that Vision was missing. I do know that, and I guess that's what the Disney Plus show's going to be.
I don't know how he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that, but
I guess they can just build him again.
Maybe they just rebuild him without the Mind Stone, and he's not the same character, but she slowly tries to fall in love with him again. What is that going to be? It's kind of weird, right?
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
That is a show I do not care about.
I will watch it. I will watch it. I will watch them all.
It's canon now.
I don't know. I feel like I got burned on this whole, like, there's got to be TV, MCU. Look, Sam Jackson's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, but wait a minute. Coulson's never coming back because as far as the movies are concerned, he's dead? You're just wasting my time.
No.
TV. I've been burned by Marvel MCU television that I don't know if I can trust this Disney Infinity shit.
This Disney Plus stuff is different. This is like 6 hours of content.
Yeah, I know. Well, so Daredevil gave us like fucking 3 seasons of 13 episodes. But Daredevil will never show up in an MCU movie.
Yeah, but that was because it was started on the wrong foot. They took the wrong steps first.
I know. It's just I don't trust them. And more importantly, I got the fucking new Falcon Cap and Bucky TV show. Like I couldn't care less about that either.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that's going to be on Disney Plus as well, and we know where that's going to go. We'll get to that a little bit later, but yeah, that has obviously a lot to do with Falcon becoming Captain America. I guess that's what we. I mean, Disney Plus is going to do a lot of figuring out what Phase 4 is. I mean, maybe it's where they do testing waters and like for like seeing like, oh, should we continue this storyline in a film narrative? I bet you that they have very little clue what to do at Disney Plus, especially the Hawk. What are they going to do with the Hawkeye fucking like Disney Plus show? What is that? Like, is that going to be Hawkeye from after the snap and you see him turn into Ronin and you essentially follow Ronin around? Or is it after the snap and you just see him living his life on a farm?
It's a Disney show. He's just slaughtering people.
So, yeah, well, but still, I mean, Disney's not going to be fully like, like PG and clean and perfect. I mean, it's going to have Mandalorian. Star Wars doesn't seem like necessarily the cleanest of content.
They say they're capping at TV-14. So, yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Well, okay. So back to the battle. This is the point in the movie. I want to remind.
This is the point in the movie where the movie loses half a star in my book, and I now am rolling my eyes because I feel like the movie is.
Okay, so you sound
something.
So just so we're clear, you sound like you're woman hating. Honestly,
yeah,
I understand you're not. But listen, listen, because I'm about to give credence to everything you say. So you just sound like you're woman hating because you just don't like Brie. All right, that's not true, and I understand that. So my audience was like all about every character showing up and getting their callbacks and their introductions, especially in this end battle throughout the whole movie. Brie Larson got, a big call out in the very first scene when she shows up and saves Tony Stark. Brie Larson all of a sudden, shows up in the end of this movie as once again Deus Ex Brie Machina. And what happens is you have everyone getting pelted, right, by these cannons coming from Thanos' Sanctuary 2 ship. And everyone's about to get killed. And the sorcerers are trying to protect everybody with their spells. And they can only do so much. And then all of a sudden, they can't stop shooting and start shooting straight into the sky. And it's like, oh, who is that? And I'm immediately thinking, oh, fuck, it's don't tell me it's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And
Coming in
boom,
to save the day.
it's Captain Marvel. And my audience, who should have, all the women and all the children should have immediately started screaming because Captain Marvel showed up to save the day. Silence.
No.
It's not like the silence where you're like,
They were right.
Everyone's shocked.
Disney was wrong.
Everybody's just like, this feels wrong. This feels like cheating.
It's cheap.
And it did.
Yeah, it was cheap.
It showed it was, like you mentioned, Disney had it wrong. This is wrong. This was the wrong moment for the wrong reasons, and all of this shit going on. You all of a sudden brought this character in that made no sense and starts destroying ships again. Something I said at the end of Captain Marvel Spoilercast, when she does this at the end of the film, starts just flying through ships. It felt weird. You're just like, this doesn't seem right. Like, it doesn't seem like Superman wouldn't just do that. Like, even they know better to write Superman not that way. Like, he's not just a bullet.
He pretty much does that to the Kryptonian ship at the end of Man of Steel, though. He flies right through it and crashes.
He flies into it to fight Zod, and then he lasers it from the inside. He doesn't fly directly through it.
No,
he's not a bullet. You're right.
Yeah.
They're making it clear Captain Marvel is basically God, and that she is late to the party. She disappears after that one little scene where.
Why did she show up then, though?
What?
Nobody called her.
Okay.
Nobody called her. Why does she show up? She was like, I'm going to be gone for years. Bye. And then all of a sudden she shows up out of nowhere for this scene. Like, that made no sense either.
At that point, yes, when the cannon's targeted upwards, I kind of think that everybody feels the same way. We're like, oh, great, it's just going to be fucking Captain Marvel. She's going to save the day now. It shows up in the third quarter, and it gets all the credit.
It was not earned at all.
I don't like that I said third quarter. The third of the movie, or the final quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter is also fine. So, yeah, that part was like, all right, maybe all she's going to do is take out the ground ships and we're going to stick with the things. But then, no, she goes to get the
Spider-Man.
She goes to Spider-Man, who's got the gauntlet, and says, give me the gauntlet. She says, hey, Peter Parker, in a condescending way. You got something for me? Because, that's pretty much the narrative of Brie Larson. What do you have for me? And she gets the gauntlet, does not put it on and use it, but instead is going to run. Now, she can fly, but there's ground troops. And Peter asks, how are you going to get through them? Well, she just flew through a fucking spaceship.
Right.
So it seems like she would just be able to fucking fly through this army. But instead, I think she says, I've got help. And the camera pans back as every woman except for Sif in the MCU
And Black Widow.
And Black Widow, obviously, yeah, appears in one shot. Now, I don't know what the plan was that, hey, when Captain Marvel shows up, she's going to try to move the gauntlet from basically from here to the other, it's like a football field's length. She'll need specifically every woman. This is somebody planning the strategy. Every woman, women only, to line up on the same side. And this includes like Mantis, who has very specific powers that are not really great in a fight.
Not this kind of fight.
Gwyneth Paltrow, who's been a superhero for about 5 minutes now.
Yep.
And may or may not have nanotechnology still in her. And
not nano. You mean something different.
Wasn't it nanotech? All right.
No.
Iron Man 3 stuff.
The extremist virus.
Yeah.
That was a shot happening for the filmmakers, for the movie. The movie got in the way of telling a logical narrative story.
Yes.
it was a virtue signal. And some people don't even like that term, but there's no other way to describe this. Like, look at all the women we have except for Steph in this universe.
And Black Widow.
Don't get mad that we killed off. Yeah, like pretty much don't get mad that we just killed off Black Widow because hey, look how many women.
Don't be mad that we just killed her off, and also she didn't get a funeral.
But in a narrative sense, it didn't make, in the sense of a battle is happening right now, and we got Captain Marvel. Why the fuck was that happening?
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense at all. It totally doesn't make sense. And once again, immediately my audience calls bullshit on that moment too. And that would have been based on every single scene I had prior to this movie, other than Captain Marvel showing up and going through a spaceship, Sanctuary 2, and crashing in the audience, not responding to that. They didn't respond to this either. This fell flat. This fell flat right on his face. And they didn't give a fuck. And I was surprised too. It fell flat to me. It felt like pandering. And I have something from the writers where they I read something from the writers, I could probably pull it up, where they even said yeah, we gambled and we're trying to figure if it was, if it was pandering or not. And we thought it was too cool to not do it. So we figured better to do it. Well, it was pandering. It felt like pandering, and it didn't make any sense. And it also made no sense, once again, narratively.
Yeah. Well, they broke the narrative. And once you break the narrative,
totally broke the narrative.
I'm just seeing the actresses. I'm not seeing rescue. I'm seeing a woman
Gwyneth Paltrow,
started a website called Goop to sell $70 vaginal stones that it turns out can really fuck up a woman's vagina because you shouldn't put stones in there.
That's a good point.
That's who I saw on screen. Goop.
Remember that, Cool Boy Nation? Do not stick stones in your vag. But
I
also thought
Paltrow. She is not there for your rescue.
So for me, one of the things that it seems like you don't like about that scene is the idea of all these women showing up in one scene. And I try to create reasons, right? The girls rule. I try to create reasons. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe by chance that next to Peter Parker and Captain Marvel were only all the women. That's just where they were in the battlefield. Maybe. But my big problem here is with this one scene is Captain Marvel shows up, gets the gauntlet, most powerful person in the entire MCU, stronger than the Hulk, stronger than Thor, stronger than Iron Man, and she doesn't put the gauntlet on and snap. She just runs around.
Right.
Why is she running around? I don't understand the character. Why is she running around?
Didn't make any sense.
I thought, okay, they made it clear, hey, we need an assist here. Oh, Captain Marvel needs an assist to the gauntlet. Oh, she's going to put on the gauntlet. No, she's going to run with it, and also needs Mantis's help.
It doesn't make any sense, though. She doesn't put the gauntlet just on. She was surrounded by all these women. They don't have to run. She literally could just put the gauntlet on her hand. She was holding it with her hands. She was inches from the possibility, but instead, she runs it. She bumps into Thanos. Thanos fucking headbutts her. She takes it, unlike Captain America, who didn't take it in the last movie because this Captain Marvel is strong. She's the captain now, right?
It sounds like you're agreeing with me on a lot of the points is the reason why I don't like it. It's just
yes,
you just have so much passion for the MCU, as Elaine Bennis would call it, unbridled enthusiasm.
Yes,
for the MCU that you to look past these flaws. But yeah, you seem to be recognizing all the same flaws as me.
I'm being critical of 10% of the movie. That's still a 90%, right? As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. You just love the franchise enough.
And I also give it an additional 10% of extra credit in the fact that it was able to tie in 21 films. 21 films got tied into this movie and wrapped up. All these story arcs were practically wrapped up. This is the first. I'm jumping way far ahead.
Really, Incredible Hulk's not really in there.
I'm jumping way far ahead here. But this is the first Marvel film where when it ended, I didn't give a fuck what the Easter credit end scene was. I didn't give a fuck what the end credit scene was because I just didn't care where Marvel went after this movie. This movie wrapped up everything.
No, it's everything. This is it. Yeah. This is the end.
So that being said, Captain Marvel should have put the fucking gauntlet on. She should have snapped. She didn't. Instead, she gives it essentially to Thanos. Thanos takes it and he snaps, but nothing.
So hold on. So wait. But maybe Captain Marvel didn't know what the fucking gauntlet even was. She was not a part of Infinity War. She has no idea what the fuck this thing is.
But she was there. She was there for 5 years afterwards and talked to them.
I'm sure you're right. I'm just trying to give an argument for why she.
No. She was there for 5 years on Earth working with the Avengers. She must have known at some point during those 5 years what the Infinity Gauntlet did that got rid of half of life.
It's messy.
Sure, I'm with you.
There was outside influence. There was rewrites. There's patchwork in the screenplay. It's like Age of Ultron. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it has a lot of fucking why? And Infinity War had so little Why?
It did.
Even
It did.
even the slightly pandering rah girl power moment in Infinity War just required you to have 3 women in proximity on the battlefield up against the female villain and go like, she's not alone. Like that was like fine because it was like, okay, that could happen within the confines of the battle.
I love
it.
That
didn't
scene.
break the fucking movie the way the shot.
Yeah.
I love that scene in
Endgame
Infinity
does.
War. Like I love when Okoye is like, why was she up there all this time? Like,
And then
I
immediately
love that.
answers it. And
Yeah, exactly
I like that.
that.
It immediately shows like why she was up there the whole time.
Yep.
Like it all worked. It all worked fine. And in this, it was just like, so this is just like a awkward like photo op in the middle of a war.
Felk, you can't relate to this because you didn't see Captain Marvel, but it felt exactly like No Doubt. I'm just a girl playing during the end battle of Captain Marvel. It did. It felt exactly like that. Like because that also fell flat on its face with my audience. Now, granted, my audience for Captain Marvel didn't give a fuck about that movie.
It didn't earn it, I'm sure.
That
That song belongs to Romy and
face.
Michelle's high school reunion.
Okay, well,
Right.
moving forward to this, guys, we got to move on. So Thanos snaps, nothing happens, right? He says, I am inevitable, but nothing occurs because Iron Man stole all the stones. Now,
Which, by the way,
I watched it,
it's
I
inevitable.
thought,
Inevitable. That's Agent Smith's catchphrase. I don't know why they
kind
stole
of,
that.
I guess.
It is
I guess.
inevitable.
I
And
guess.
it doesn't really apply here. It's like he's not inevitable.
No, he's not inevitable. Then why are you trying so hard, dude?
Right. No.
Maybe he thinks he is, and he's just super cocky because
Well, yeah, he's just cocky.
Yeah,
He
I
just
think
needed
he's
to say
super,
I am
see,
something so that Iron Man could say I am Iron Man, and that's why they
He
had
did.
it.
You know, you're
And
right.
that
You're
was a cool scene when he said that.
I look at 2014 Thanos as being way more brutal and cocky and just more sadistic than I look at the 2018
old
Thanos.
Thanos says I am inevitable in the opening scene, in the opening fight.
In Infinity War, you're saying?
No, in Endgame, when they first go to his planet, he also says
Yeah, he
I
does
am
say it
inevitable.
there. Yeah.
Oh, does he say it there twice?
he says it there.
He does say it in the
In
Go
fact,
ahead,
it's
yeah.
not only said there, but you also hear him say I am inevitable again from the projection hologram that Gamora does. So technically, he says I am inevitable 3 times in the movie.
Oh, so he's like saying it back to them, like, remember me saying this? Ha 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 ha.
Yes.
Look, I'm
Okay.
here.
Right.
Yeah. So he would remember the replay of it. Yeah. So
So he'd be like, oh, look
Right.
at this. I'm saying something that the older version of me said.
That
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
know what I said. Yeah.
that's right.
That actually makes it cooler, to be honest.
Yeah. It just I
To
feel
me,
like
at
it
least.
needed. I am something. It just not inevitable. That's
And then
that's the
Iron Man,
Matrix.
of course, he steals the stones from Thanos, right? So that his snap means nothing. But here's something I thought interesting about it. So first time I watched it, I was like, wow, he stole them really fast. But the second time I watched it, I realized, oh, they're like the way his nanotech worked on his suit, they just like kind of suctioned off almost immediately.
Yeah, the
like
nanotech did it.
Like it was just perfect. It was he didn't do anything. He didn't even have to touch them. His suit sucked them off.
Yeah.
And
Well,
put them
it was
onto
his
his
plan.
suit.
He knew what he was doing because right before he goes for them is when you get the little finger up from Doctor Strange saying,
Yeah.
okay, this is the one.
This is
and
the
by the
one.
way, I just spared your life so that you can die now. You're basically Harry Potter.
Exactly, pretty much. And then, of course, Iron Man, before he snaps, he says, I am Iron Man, which is the last thing he says in this movie as a living human being, which was also the last thing he said in Iron Man in 2008. And then he snaps and then he dies.
Yeah.
And his mind is completely destroyed. And I love how they show everybody saying goodbye to him.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how like he is you see what Thor described as your mind being melted or destroyed or bent or whatever it was, he's like by touching like Stormbreaker, you finally see like the power these cosmic entities, these cosmic weapons have to destroy someone as fucking like, as a mortal as Tony
Except
Stark.
I was thinking, why doesn't Captain Marvel put in the glove and snap him back?
I had a different thought actually. So one of the things I thought was
Everyone seemed too cool with Iron Man dying. No one was rushing him to a hospital.
This
no
is
one
what
was trying to
this is
save
my
him.
point. This is my point. Well, first, okay, I had a question for you, but I forgot what it is. So I'll try to remember and ask you in a second. So that's my point, Phil. So why did the Wakandans run over and go like I was thinking of like Star Trek and Bones all of a sudden. I was thinking, why did the Wakandans like run over and be like, get the fuck out of here, everyone, get out of the way. God damn it. Why are you guys just staring at him and rushed him off to like a Wakandan hospital through a sling ring?
Yeah,
And like
sling
just saved
ring.
his life. Like I thought the Wakandans could probably have done something. That being said, I never once thought like, oh, like, someone should throw on the glove and bring back Tony Stark, because they had established so well earlier.
They brought back Mantis, but no, not Tony Stark.
Like, well, they established so early.
But come on, you know this is the end of Tony's arc.
Yeah,
right,
I know.
It has to be.
We all knew that was kind of happening.
Yeah, that's where I'm saying that the outside influence of the movie it was too much. Like Tony dies, and everyone's just kind of like, this is sad, but you know what? It's okay. We're all here for you, Tony. It's all cool that you're going. Like, shouldn't they be rushing to fucking save him? No, it's because Robert Downey Jr. is done with the franchise, and that's what's really happening here. So we're all gonna do a little photo.
You do understand Black Widow can't be brought back,
but yes, I do know that she can't be. Okay. They established that why she couldn't be brought back, but she's the only one they established why she couldn't.
So maybe there's a rule.
Like they can bring back Heimdall, but like, sorry, Heimdall.
Heimdall's gone, right? He's actually dead.
I don't think you can bring him back.
He's not dead from the snap, right?
This is why it's so important to me to establish whether or not the people who died via car accidents and airplane crashes immediately after the snap, but not directly from the snap, were brought back too. Like, because if it's bringing them back, then it can bring back non-snap people. And if it can bring back non-snap people, then there's no reason that Tony Stark should be dead anyways. Also, Vision. Bring back Vision. Bring them all back.
I disagree, and I think that the people that probably were affected by the death of someone being snapped away probably were brought back, and maybe even Thanos was smart enough to think about in the process, like, if you're going to take out a plane, take out the whole plane and count that ratio towards the other 50% on the ground so that you balance it out.
Helicopter in the Nick Fury scene.
So everyone died in that office building, and everyone died in that helicopter were snapped away. They didn't die. So
that's a lot. That's a lot more work. That's not random.
No, it's not. No. Literally, he had an eternity in the Soul Stone essentially to think that shit through. But yeah, I mean, but maybe I'm thinking is that just like you have to get the Soul Stone, you have to give a soul to get the Soul Stone, and then you can never get that soul back. Maybe if you snap your fingers to cause a massive destruction to the universe, that you have to be able to withstand that power, and if you don't withstand that power, you're just dead.
That's why Tony died. Yeah. No, yes. I got that. And
I'm saying because of that, you die that way, you can't be brought back, regardless of just like Black Widow can't be brought back.
Yeah, you're a sacrifice.
So pretty much, but granted, they also have Gamora coming back. She's back now, but through time travel. So they can also use time travel to get Tony, but then they'd be creating an alternate timeline in which there's no Tony Stark, so they'd be fucking over somebody else's reality by stealing their Tony.
Right. But if they put Tony back at the exact same moment, which you can easily do with time travel, then it doesn't matter. It negates everything.
So you can still cameo.
Right, exactly. So you can still get cameos from Steve Rogers or Tony Stark. So here's a question about Tony Snap, though. So when he snaps to kill Thanos and to kill all of Thanos' army, what happens to Gamora? He doesn't know Gamora. He never saw Gamora on Titan, right, when he fought the Guardians. All he knows, he says something like, what is Gamora, right? No. And then Drax is like, why is Gamora? Or something like that. Or who is Gamora?
It's where's Gamora, who's Gamora, why is Gamora?
Right. So there you go, right? So Tony only knows maybe the name Gamora. So I guess the thing is that he snapped away. He snapped all of Thanos' army and not Gamora, I guess.
We don't know. He was searching for Chris Pratt or Star-Lord was searching for Gamora at the end. I'm assuming she's back.
I'm assuming she's back too, but
he was just thinking everyone who's fighting against us right now, snap. And Gamora was on his side. So
I guess
they didn't kill Gamora off screen. And Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy will be Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah. All right, so Tony dies. We have his funeral, and we get the kid from Iron Man 3 for some reason there, which nobody recognized. Nobody recognizes him, right? So it's like, what's the fucking point of putting him there? He's not that
there's
big
going to be
a
new Avengers or Teen Avengers or whatever, Teen Titans, not Teen Titans, but
Young Avengers.
Young Avengers is going to be one of the potential Disney Plus shows, and he's under a 3-movie or 3-something contract to them from Iron Man.
So
3.
Cassie Lang is obviously going to be Stature in one of those situations too, right?
Yeah,
or
Hawkeye,
they're setting that up, Hawkeye. Yeah.
And Hawkeye's daughter, right?
Yeah, and Hawkeye, yeah.
Who else? Who else do we have as young? Oh, you know, we're 5 years in the future.
Shuri.
So Amadeus Cho. They have Amadeus Cho. His mother was in Age of Ultron. Her son could be in the in moving forward is like one of the smartest kids.
And Shuri, obviously.
And Shuri, yeah.
It's going to be probably Ironheart or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ironheart would be his daughter, and that'll be even later because Disney's probably got 30 years planned ahead now.
And then who else?
I don't know.
Morgan.
Are there any
Starr,
other kids that they established at this point? Yeah, there's definitely other kids they've established, right? Wasn't there just another kid just recently they established? Like a boy in some fucking Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel.
Yeah. You're right.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see the
Definitely.
movie, but I know what you're talking about. All right, let's move on to the funeral.
Yep, everyone's at
Well, we're
funeral.
there. We're at the funeral. We're
Yeah.
literally there.
No, I'm saying let's start talking about the funeral.
That's the only time you see. That's the only time you see Fury.
Yeah, it's the only time Fury's in the movie. It's true.
No lines, just walks out the door or something, or walks by.
Yeah.
They're just burning through fucking Samuel Jackson's contract, aren't they?
I don't think
Jesus.
he's contracted for that. Samuel Jackson's in a lot of direct-to-video movies. He seems to be pretty accessible as a.
I think he's easy to work with, but I thought he was down for like this was his last contracted film.
Well, he's in Far From Home.
Oh, I guess. Well,
Yeah,
then maybe
of course.
they must have reestablished his contract for that moving forward. Then, so yeah, he's probably gonna sign up for another 9 movies.
No.
We have Sammy J until he dies as Nick Fury.
Yeah, and turns out Far From Home's trailer was indeed a huge spoiler because
Right,
it
yeah,
does
it was.
take place in the future.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Happy Hogan kind of makes mention that like he's his only role model now for like Spider-Man. So it's kind of like, why? Where's Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because Tony's dead. Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, or not Spider-Man, Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, definitely ended up screwing over Endgame's marketing a little bit. That was Sony's bad. That was not.
They should have just
Marvel's.
released that in like in November or something, and just we don't even get a trailer until this summer or something. I don't know.
But they're releasing it. But yeah, Sony wants to make money, so they're doing their own thing, and so they fucking don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so they're like releasing it in July or August coming up.
July.
So
It's July.
They had to jump on it.
I get it.
And what's the next movie after that? Black Panther 2?
No, we don't know. There's
We don't
nothing
know
been
yet.
announced.
Okay.
Probably
Nothing-
Black
nothing.
Widow or Guardians 3.
I think
Guardians
Black Panther
3,
2 will
not
happen.
yet. That's going to be a few years down the road. It's going to be
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and or Black Widow potentially. But nobody knows. So here, quick question, guys. Does the secret to time travel die with Tony, or do we now have time travel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Hank
I-
Pym's back, so he can make more Pym particles. So
And I think Professor Hulk knows too.
yeah.
Banner's
Did
pretty
Tony
smart.
Tony shared all the notes?
I think so. I don't think it's totally dead.
Well, I kind of wish it was dead. I also like
wish
the
it was
idea
dead.
that Tony did destroy it with himself. When he died, it all died with them, because it just feels like the kind of thing that's like Star Trek Into Darkness, when it's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, great, so now they just have the secret to life. Like they don't need, like, death means nothing anymore.
And you can teleport across planets now.
Well,
through the transporter.
but the whole
broke
Avengers-
Star Trek.
Yeah, the whole
did.
Avengers facility was demolished. So
And then they
they'd
broke
have to-
Star Wars.
So yeah, all the notes could have been destroyed on those hard drives. All those notes could have been destroyed on paper.
It could probably be argued either way. If they need to bring it back, they can.
It
in
is
the
more to do
cloud.
with what at this point, like what Kevin Feige feels like.
Right,
than
exactly. He's
anything
keeping it
more.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so we get Tony Stark's funeral, which was a great way to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it for what it was. I know, Felk, you didn't. You were frustrated the whole time. It sounds like.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird funeral. It was impressive to get all the actors in this one unbroken shot, like getting all these actors to pay respect to the actor who started this franchise that they're now all a part of, because that's what was happening. It wasn't these characters were showing respect to Iron Man.
Right.
It didn't feel quite right. In that sense, I mean, some of these characters barely interacted with Iron Man. Black Panther may have met him like one day. You know, it's like, but he's at his funeral because he's an important character in the MCU, and it all started with Iron Man. But all I was just doing was laughing at the all black Guardians of the Galaxy costumes that I felt a little out of place at a funeral.
By the way, that was Drax. The only time he was
He's
wearing
ever
a shirt.
worn a shirt. Yeah,
Yeah.
His nipples were being chafed.
I have nothing to say other than I loved it. Dor, did you like it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was a good sign off.
I guess he was cremated because
Yeah.
they didn't have a casket.
Oh no! Really? I wanted to say. I was hoping he was cryogenically frozen like Walt Disney. That's what I wanted.
Well, I think when the wreath thing, they didn't have
it's
a jar of
they push
ashes.
it out to the push it
Although
out
they
in the
did
lake.
right after that shot, they cut to fucking Thor dressed like the dude overlooking an ocean on a cliff, and I thought, is he gonna fucking spread the ashes like in the Big Lebowski? But no, that was not a Big Lebowski.
And it
reference.
blows all over
been
Valkyrie.
amazing.
That would have been amazing.
That didn't
Yeah.
happen.
been great.
That didn't happen. was just one.
Well, okay.
Lebowski
Well,
shout
speaking
out.
of Thor, we had
then we have
Thor,
Thor.
you know, giving up New Asgard to Valkyrie. She's now the Queen of Asgard, which was great.
If that's
and
a
then,
movie, man, that's going to be a tough sell. I don't know.
Well, Taika should just do it like he did the Team Daryl stuff, the Team Thor shorts. Just make it just a small, really short,
that's fine.
like fucking series
totally
on
fine.
Disney Plus.
Even
You know?
even if it's a full series on Disney Plus, that's fine. But like, you're not going to get people in the theater to see Valkyrie Thor.
No, and Korg and Meek, and their daily adventures in New Asgard. No, you're not going to get it.
Tessa Thompson's a great actress, but like she belongs either as a supporting character or like even supporting on like Westworld. Like I don't see her carrying a movie. Like, yeah, ScarJo will carry a movie, but like I'm not clear. See, that's the thing. I'm not clear whether they're setting up movies or Disney Plus shows. And that
both. They're doing both. They're
Yeah.
doing literally both at the same time. This Endgame movie was more of a giant commercial for Disney Plus and Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 and beyond than it was anything else. That's not true. As well as it was a giant conclusion to 21 films and storylines so far, set up by like 7 franchises.
That's the thing. What I thought we deserved, what I thought should have happened was the 2.5 hour movie focusing on the core 6 Avengers and their fight. And instead we got that, but also, 7-ish minutes of Captain Marvel that are really awkward and don't really make sense and kind of break the narrative. And we got a bunch of a weird. It's kind of like the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy where it overstays its welcome because it sets up. I think it overstays its welcome a little bit. I didn't like. Seeing Thor with the Guardians was neat. Well, I know we'll get to that.
That's amazing. We're there right now, by the way. But yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing.
It has set up a bunch of shows that I don't really want to watch.
As Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought was a nice way for Thor to continue his journey, but at the same time giving him a natural conclusion to his storyline that has been established through his 3 films and 3 other Avengers films. Like, basically, I liked it. I like moving on.
Yeah, I like that part too.
That adventure with him and the rest of the Guardians.
And I can't wait to see his charisma with all of these characters.
Yeah, but you have to wait until Suicide Squad 2 is done.
I know, I do.
It's going to be like 4 or 5 years until Volume 3 comes out, I think.
So is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 truly going to be as Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, I think it'll be called Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it'll be Volume 3.
No. I mean, but is it going to be this storyline that they established, or is this going to be what Thor 4 is?
I think it's going to be Thor's going to be in Guardians 3 because they get paid. See, that's the thing. They get paid differently, the leads, if the movie is titled like or focusing on their character. So Tony got probably a little less for Civil War, especially considering a lot of his work was just voiceover.
Barely little, though. Come on.
Yeah, not like that much. More money than either of you or me will ever see.
Or anyone else made on that movie.
But less compared to what he got paid for, I'm sure, Infinity War and Iron Man 3.
But he made more on Civil War than Captain America made, or he made more than Chris Evans made.
Well, that's because he's fucking Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans are a dime a dozen. But my point is that I think it's cheaper for them to have Hemsworth film for like half the time of filming, half the shoot schedule of Guardians 3 than it would be to make a Thor 4. And I don't know if we're going to get a Thor 4. That the contract's different. So
Taika's working on it apparently.
My point. Well, that hopefully it doesn't start Valkyrie. If they get Chris Hemsworth in there, I'd love to see that dynamic again. But of all the things this thing set up. All right, it sets up Loki's Disney Plus show. It sets up the new Cap and Bucky Disney Plus show. The only thing that I wanted to see was the Asgardians of the Galaxy thing. That I want more of. But the rest, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be watching a lot of Marvel on home video, I guess. Which I guess Disney's fine with.
Yeah, they're fine with that for sure. Well, speaking of upcoming series or movies, there's going to be an Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Stature movie. We're going to get all 3 of them maybe next, I guess. That's kind of how they left it off, it looked like.
Yeah.
Which I would be interested in, considering I enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp more than I enjoyed Ant-Man. So, seems to be moving up on that series. But that's not the thing anybody cares about, right? Everyone cares about what happened last in the movie. Steve Rogers gets to live his long life in the past. And I liked it. I caught the second time that Winter Soldier says actually to Steve before he goes back in time to take the stones back to set everything right.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, Bucky says to Steve, "I'll miss you." He obviously knows something's fucking up.
Yeah, he told him. That's why he tells Falcon to go talk to him. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that's also why he turns around right away and he starts looking for someone.
Yeah, he knew what was up. Can we talk about how that breaks the entire narrative of how time travel works in this universe?
Yeah.
It does, except I have a very easy solution. And do you want to hear it before you try to like explain why?
No, you go ahead and I'll debate it.
This is from the directors.
Okay.
Okay. If Cap were to go back into the past and live there, he would create a branched reality.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The question that becomes, how is he back in this reality to give the shield away?
Okay.
Interesting question, right? Joe continues.
This is the Russos. All right.
I told you. Listen. I said directors. Joe continues. Maybe there's a story there. There's a lot of layers built into this movie, and we spent 3 years thinking through it. So it's fun to talk about it and hopefully fill in the holes for people so they understand what they're thinking. It definitely sounds like the stage is being set for the spinoff addressing Cap for all those years. It turns out that Steve actually lived in an alternate timeline / dimension before making the jump back to the MCU as we know it in order to hand his shield over to Sam Wilson.
All right. Well, that's really weird. I did not expect you to be able. I have not read that quote, and them saying, "Yeah, some stuff happened to make that happen. We'll deal with that in another movie."
I'm
getting tired of hearing that. We'll tell you how we got Luke's lightsaber back in another movie. Don't worry about it. Like
they'll never do that. Just so you know,
they'll never come. And you know what else? There's never going to be a spinoff that deals with different Cap throughout the time. That was the Russos going like, yes, we acknowledge the problem. There's some stories to tell.
It's time travel. There's going to be some loopholes.
What's happening there?
The good thing is that what we do get in from it is like, yeah, there could be some like, way to tell this and figure it out later, but you get a poetic justice in the ending, right? The narrative comes to a complete end and Cap gets to go back and spend his days with Peggy, which is what we all would want.
No, that
was his happy ending.
You know that was Ballard.
Yep, gets the dance and the kiss.
His happily ever after.
Joe Russo. That was like when Mythbusters finally proved that yes, Jack and Rose could have both survived on the door, and James Cameron's like, yeah, but narratively they need to die. All right.
Yeah, someone needed to die.
Someone needed to die. That's the Russos going like, yeah, but okay, it doesn't work, but there's stories to tell, and that's why we felt it needed to be like that. So at least I think they are acknowledging that like there is something up where the time travel doesn't make sense, because he said exactly what I said.
It is.
Yes, he did, and I still made that connection in my head, right? That like it was just Cap was living there all this time and all along, and maybe that is the case, and maybe that's part of what the time travel is, and that's part of what they will eventually answer.
I guess it is foolish of me to think that this wouldn't have been brought up to the Russos at some point. They just made a conscious decision that like, yeah, but narratively it's better this way. So
right, and it's also you're at the 3-hour mark. Can you really get into like the details at that point? Like you're trying to wrap it up. They clearly were trying to have it not be Return of the King and have everybody have an incredible ending storyline. You got a montage of like Black Panther, Ant-Man, right? And like a couple others, but you really got just essentially an ending to Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, and really 3 scenes in that.
Well, it really comes down to they didn't just want to use the reason the time travel was somewhat convoluted is because they didn't want to just do a rewrite present day. They wanted to leave the MCU in a different state so that the previous movie had weight. And what they settled on was the idea that the world is now a place where half the world is missed the last 5 years and is 5 years younger than they naturally would be, which is going to probably be addressed a couple times in Far From Home, maybe in the Black Panther 2 or whatever the next movie is. Yep. And by the 3rd movie, no one will ever mention it again.
Yeah, probably very true. Yeah. Yeah, and then and that's probably how it'll all pan out, is that they'll just be, and that's funny because once again we'll be watching movies that take place in the future, not in present time. So in 2019, right, we're going to be watching Spider-Man Far From Home taking place in 2023, and it's going to take them now 4 years for us to catch up with the rest of the MCU. Or they're going to have movies that take place during the snap, I guess, or immediately after the snap, and then.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It'll be, or
I don't
way
think
back in the
movies
past
that take place between snaps.
No,
No, and they probably won't. They'll probably do.
It's all going to be now, 2023.
Oh no, Black Widow is an origin story.
Captain Marvel 2 is in the 90s.
By the way, Dorn.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't I call Black Widow dying?
You did.
You
definitely did.
Yep. And Dorn, didn't I call literally the ending with Captain America going back into time and being with Peggy?
You did. Yes.
You did not, did you?
I did guess that, but I guessed that on a text message thread with Dorn.
Yeah, we were texting about it.
Oh,
We did say that.
well, until I see photographic proof.
Oh boy.
It's not admissible in
see if I can
court.
find it, but yeah.
No, don't worry about it. I believe you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
both coordinate that.
Yeah, because it just seemed like a natural. Because ever since Winter Soldier, I've been thinking that Steve Rogers went back in time and was the man that was not in the photos when Peggy's talking about her husband. I've always had this theory that Cap went back, finally made his way back.
Yeah, I've seen. You're not the only one. I've seen that.
No,
on the
I know.
internet,
It's a fan theory. It's a very wild fan theory.
Was there anybody else you thought would die who didn't?
I thought Iron Man was probably going to die, and I was. But I also
I said Iron Man and Captain America would die, and I feel like I'm still. Like,
I thought Cap.
I'm right with an
Cap
asterisk.
was going to die too.
I'm right with an asterisk because I mean,
well, he
doesn't die, but he kind of dies. The character.
Yeah, I mean, Cap's story's done.
Yeah,
I mean,
although apparently
Cap
there's
was
more
gonna
stories
die.
to tell about how he came back to that timeline.
Well, sure.
I definitely had mixed feelings. I definitely for a long time thought Cap was going to somehow find his way to Peggy, but
it's
right before the movie showed up, I definitely thought Cap was going to die. I thought they were going to kill Captain America from 2018 or 2019 or whatever, or 2023, and that we were going to get a new Cap from like another era from 2012. I really thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, though that would mean keeping Chris Evans. I think Chris Evans is done.
It also would mean like destroying all the timeline shit we just talked about.
Right.
They were pretty adamant about not having.
Yeah, they wanted to leave the MCU's core intact.
Yes.
Right.
The last thing you want is to get into a Days of Future Past situation where you have
exactly.
Yeah, you have the Wolverine come out, and then the very next movie says the Wolverine never happened. They're not erased.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that shit. If you said,
connect, right.
"Hey, Black Panther just got erased," boy, people would be pissed off. So they have to not use time travel to fuck up everything, and I did like that. I think it's just like the core message is kind of weird, and that's what strikes me so wrong is that like when something horrible happens or when you lose someone you love, this is like the biggest thing of psychology, of therapy, of counseling, learning to accept the loss, deal with blame, deal with personal blame, responsibility, and move forward. And with Cap, he spent all those movies, pining for Peggy, looking at a dead woman in a compass or a very old woman. And then she dies in Civil War and he kisses a new woman. Sharon Carter? Is her name right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, fuck off, Sharon Carter. He's going back in time and fucking your aunt.
Well, or his niece. That was his niece he was kissing.
Because he marries her?
Oh, it could have been. It could have been his.
Maybe.
Yeah,
if my theory's right, it was like a Game of Thrones thing going on there at the end.
Yeah. So rather than accept that you lost, accept that you've lost someone, fuck that, fight against it, invent time travel. It's a weird message.
Hey, that's Captain America's life, though, right?
It's everybody.
Don't move, right? Be the tree or whatever.
Man out of time.
Tony Stark had the right idea. Move on, accept it, and forge a new life in this new world. And they're like, "Fuck you, Tony. We're gonna make you do time travel." So I don't know. I thought the point of the movie was weird. It's like I feel like you should like I thought getting together with Sharon Carter was a good direction for Cap. And apparently he just never mentioned hers again after that kiss. And he still has Peggy in his compass and fucking can't get over her.
The point of the movie isn't bottled down into Captain America's storyline, right? It's like that's not it. The point of the movie really is bottled down to, as far as I'm concerned, into the entire second act.
It's about family.
It's about family. No, it's about the second act. It's a clip show. They wanted to do a clip show.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. And then wrapping up,
It was a clip show best of Marvel, and like I get
best of with the Dark World for the Dark World.
Throw away my fucking joke. You took my
Avengers, Dark World, yeah.
Oh really?
No, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy's a cool opening.
Yep.
And of course, Natalie Portman having the ether inside of her.
Of course.
But you took my joke and said it.
Sorry, I was just shocked. I'm like, what do you mean best of?
Well, that's what they were doing. They just had no choice because that's the only time they had the Reality Stone in there. I guess they could have taken it from the Collector, but who wants to see that? Maybe the DCO wasn't available.
They already did that in Infinity War, so
yeah. Well, speaking of best ofs, we had our final Stan Lee cameo, guys. And now this was not my favorite Stan Lee cameo, but it was his last one. They actually de-aged him apparently for this.
Well, you can hardly see his face.
Well, technically speaking,
yes,
just putting him on the screen is de-aging him because he's dead.
That's true. This is true. Yeah, and so he says for his final cameo, he says, "Hey man, make love, not war." A great sentiment we should all live
And his
by.
bumper sticker said what?
Enough said.
Enough said. Because that's the end. He's done. Because he's dead now.
He's done. He's dead now.
They took the footage they shot for Far From Home and just burned it.
Maybe that's or deleted it in the trash can on the desktop. But yeah, that's possible. So the end credits, guys. There was no end credit stinger, obviously.
Everyone was pissed in my theater.
There was a sound effect, and I got stuck with two different groups that did not want to wait around. This is the first Marvel film that I did not get to wait around for the end credit stinger. It was apparently a sound, I guess.
It was the sound of Iron Man hammering from Iron Man 1.
Yep, making the Mark 1.
Who cares?
And my audience said, what the fuck? So actually, people booed. They were like, what? Boo! And then one guy screams out, it was the hammering from the first Iron Man movie. And everybody stood up and walked out of the theater.
And everyone said, kill him.
My theater, someone's like, joke's on us. They've trained us to stick around, and then it was nothing.
No.
Wow. Well, this is the first time I never stuck around, and that's literally because I was with people who wouldn't do it. I wish I wanted to, and I'm glad I guess I didn't. I still kind of wish I did.
All you hear is just cling, cling, cling. That's it.
So this is the end of Phase 3. Oh, no, apparently it's not. Kevin Feige recently came out and said Spider-Man Far From Home is technically the end of Phase 3.
Probably because he agreed to that in like a handshake deal with Sony executives. The Japanese are very good at negotiations. Although I don't know if they actually talk to Kevin Feige. He might just talk to Amy Pascal.
Maybe. It just
really good at running a studio.
So just like Ant-Man was the epilogue of Phase 2 to Avengers Age of Ultron, this is Phase 3's epilogue, Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm sure it'll be just as good. All right, guys, I have a few questions for you before we leave. Who is your fuck me from this movie?
Guys.
Fuck me.
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 Fuck me.
I'll say ScarJo. R.I.P. Black Widow. But she's still
Which one? You had two different ScarJos in this movie.
Oh, 2012 ScarJo is perfect. And you can tell when they put ScarJo in that old costume for new footage. It's like, she doesn't quite have that 2012 figure no more, but she looked so good in 2012. 2012
She still looks
ScarJo.
good. Oh yeah.
She still looks great. She still looks, oh yeah, no. Hands down. I've said before, I am down to fuck. This is going to be shitting on Brie Larson again. I'm down to fuck Scarlett Johansson for 40 years in the future. I don't know what happens to her. She might be in a horrible car accident, whatever. 40 years from now, future ScarJo over Brie Larson today.
Even if ScarJo has a stoma and Brie Larson looks even hotter and sexier?
No, Brie Larson looks exactly as she does today. ScarJo looks like future ScarJo, and we don't know what that's going to be, but I'm going with it.
All right, Dorn, who's your fuck me from this movie?
America's ass.
Oh, America's ass.
You married guys always pick a man, so you don't have to admit talking about a woman.
I know your
answer.
I personally thought that Chris Evans or whatever his ass double had a much better ass than Brie Larson has so far in the films I've seen. That being said, I would say for me, Scarlett Johansson is absolutely my fuck me from this film, but not 2012 ScarJo. No. I love me some 2023 ScarJo.
Well, under Red,
she was
before the
red with a little bit of blonde.
Yeah,
2023. Yeah,
they're implying that she dyed her hair blonde and she has natural red hair.
That's right. Now, guys, that was exactly what they were saying too for the press rounds. That she was dyeing her hair blonde because she was on the run, and that's why Cap had a beard because they were on a run.
Which means which, by the way, when people do fan art of Black Widow ScarJo nude, and they do it in color, they always give her, even though they have red hair, they always give her blonde pubic hair. But she should have red pubic hair. Get together.
They're just doing ScarJo. They're doing ScarJo.
Because they're just doing ScarJo. Yeah. They're thinking of her. And because they're thinking the
Natasha.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we did in the a few episodes back, we went through every single Marvel ab in every single Marvel film in the cinematic universe of Marvel films. But we have not done Endgame. So where to abs? Where to abs in this movie? Guys, where to abs? Where were the abs?
We see...
Were there any abs?
Obviously, there's abs. There's Thor's fat abs.
Well, that.
Yep.
There's Hulk takes his shirt off. We see old Hulk shirt. CGI
No. CGI Hulk, CGI abs don't count.
Okay. Well, then, but obviously wasn't actually Chris Hemsworth's abs.
Right.
Those are prosthetics.
No. So you're right. So we said prosthetic abs don't count either. So yeah. So it's real abs. There's only one set of real abs in this whole movie.
Drax.
It was Drax. But we did get almost abs from RDJ again, but not.
Yeah.
All right,
that
guys.
was quick. I thought there was more abs.
No. When did you cry? If you cried in this movie, was there a moment? Because a lot of people are talking about this movie made them cry.
Made them cry.
Yeah.
No.
When people died, when RDJ died, when people said goodbye, when Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow kills herself, so Hawkeye doesn't. People died. I actually cried. I had one moment I cried. I thought I was gonna go in there and cry like a million times. I only cried once, and it was very minimal. It was when Morgan Stark is sitting down at the funeral or after the funeral with Happy Hogan, and he says, "Is she hungry?" And she says, "Yeah, she wants cheeseburgers." And then Happy Hogan's like Jon Favreau does an incredible job of portraying Happy Hogan, just kind of getting choked up by the idea of Morgan wanting cheeseburgers because, and I did think of this, and I've seen think pieces mention it since, but I did think of it at the time of the movie. It was because that's what Tony Stark's first thing he says when he comes back from Afghanistan after being in the cave. He says he wants a cheeseburger.
Yep.
And I actually got choked up at that moment. That moment really did get me. And I really did feel like I was a little heartbroken there. And I also like cheeseburgers.
Love cheeseburgers.
No, that didn't choke me up at all. I was like, again, it's just like, I'm just seeing people mourning a really rich actor saying he's done making millions of dollars.
Yeah, all right, fine. All right, so there was the footage leak, right?
Poor
that
Robert
happened.
Downey Jr.
Guys, right? There was a footage leak that happened right before the movie came out and it pissed off Marvel, right? Do you guys know what was actually spoiled to the audiences that did check out?
Did you see it? Anything?
I did not, but I looked this up.
No, I did not. I did not see anything. Honestly, I didn't even watch the final trailer.
I think I watched the final. I think I did. That's like one of the last things I watched was whatever they called it, I think a sneak peek or some shit.
Yeah, I try to just stay clear of everything. So no, I didn't see any of these leaked moments or footage.
Okay, so that leak that was released was like 4 minutes. Did you hear about it?
I heard about the leak. I didn't know what it was.
So these leaks were Professor Hulk and Fat Thor were leaked to the public. Whatever the scenes were, they showed that there was Professor Hulk and Fat Thor. Apparently, the leak also showed that the quantum realm was going to be a big part, and especially the time travel aspects. I guess the only things that were known was there was going to be, based on the leak, was time travel to New York City in 2012. You had a Cap versus Cap scene in the leak. You had Cap, Tony, and Fat Thor versus Thanos in the leak. So you knew that was happening at the end, the Trinity, as we mentioned. You had in the leak a shot that clearly showed Cap wielding Mjolnir. And you showed that the snappers, the dead heroes that were snapped away, there was a shot showing they returned, as well as you heard Captain America say, "Avengers assemble." You saw Tony hug Peter, and you saw that Captain Marvel showed up with a new hairdo. That is all that was released in that leak. And then there was one toy leak that gave away the Stark gauntlet, apparently.
The Iron Gauntlet.
Yeah, the Iron Gauntlet. Yeah, but other than that, that was all the shit that was leaked.
So cool.
Is Felt gone?
Yeah, I'm like Thanos at the beginning. I'm done. Go ahead and do your ranks. I'll abdicate.
So let's just quickly rank the 4 Avengers films. Guys, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
List them in order, starting with number 4, your worst, and ending on your best, making it your number 1.
Ultron, this, Avengers, then Infinity War.
I would do Ultron, Endgame, Infinity War, and I still put the first Avengers at the top.
Okay.
Oh wow! So you're almost the same as Felk, except
We'll switch.
You switched Infinity War and the Avengers. I'm the exact same as you, Felk. My number 4 is absolutely Age of Ultron. My number 3 is Endgame. My number 2 is the Avengers, and Infinity War is definitely my number 1.
Yeah.
Cool.
So cool.
Well, Jesus, we did it. All right, can we move on now, boys, from all things MCU?
No!
Some people move on,
No! What the fuck is it with you?
but not us.
Oh, good for you!
Not us.
Fucking kick your fucking ass. You know, shut up for a second, all right? I'm gonna go. Do you want me to go fucking trash your lights? Do you want me to fucking trash them?
Cool Boy Nation, I want to trash them, and please tell us what you thought about Avengers Endgame.
Oops. What's that S?
By emailing us at, I'm not going to reread it, by emailing us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. New episodes of the Cool Boys Podcast come out every Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys and review us on iTunes. You can also donate to us on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Please check out our other great Cool Boys Central content with Batman and Beyond on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. And Dorn, do you have any super cool stuff or so cool social media you would like to plug?
Yeah, and how's that Instagram page been looking since we've been sending people your way with all of our plugs?
It's just flooding. It's so good. The only thing I plug is Jeff Stryker.
See, I got a huge cock.
So Cool Boy Nation, just Google Dorn. See what you get. Thank you for listening.
And Jeff Stryker's Underground.
And Jeff Stryker's Underground. You'll get a result.
You'll like that one.
Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Jane Foster Felk.
That's Byzies from Brock Rumlow. Oops, I changed it. Hang on. What did I say originally?
I don't know. I'm not scrolling all the way up. That's too many pages.
Okay, yeah.
They're all black.
That's Byzies from Laura Barton Ballard.
Ooh.
And that's Byzies from Doctor Strange Dorn.
No, you're Carol Danvers Dorn. Whoops.
And that's
These
Byzies
are old
from
ones.
Carol Danvers Dorn.
Yeah, you can't use the Doctor. That's not part of the name.
Yeah.
And that's Byzies
Yeah, these are
from
old.
Drax the Destroyer Dorn.
That one's good.
You are standing American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by...
All right, I got pee so fucking bad right
we're
now.
done.
We're good, right?
We're beyond
Yeah.
done. I'm hanging up right now, and I am sending the thing to you. Dorn, it was beautiful to see you. You're a lovely human being. And you
Oh, I
guys
love
have
it.
a Great night.
Bye, guys. Thanks
Bye.
again.
Bye.
You guys.
Oh, shit. We never say goodbye to Torn on the podcast. Are you recording at all? We didn't say thank you or anything. We
I'm
just
still recording. Bye, Dorn.
Bye, Torn. This will be the
I'm
Easter
still
egg.
recording. Bye, Dorn.
Bye.
Bye, Torn.
Get some
Cool boys.
so serious.